born in that time. I keep thinking that in Missing Link, it's like a lot of the events in that game is going to kind of lead up to Xehanort's birth. You know, like there's the whole thing about the society of heirs and non-heirs, and then there's the fact that, you know, Ephema, who founded Scala, had the Book of Prophecies, and I wonder if in that book it's like kind of alludes to someone like Xehanort being born someday, and obviously we know what Xehanort's supposed to do. I wonder if that's the reason why it was like a big deal to get him out of there, because it's kind of like we know what this child is and we can't have him here because he's a danger. You know, it reminds me of like there was a plot thread in, you know, not plot thread, but there was a reference in Kingdom Hearts 1, and I could be wrong, maybe someone correct me, but I have tried to really think back on this. And I've even considered making a video on it. You know, when you go to Atlantica, right? And you in Kingdom Hearts 1 and King Triton saying about like he's worried about the Keyblade and he doesn't want Sora to use the keyhole and all this stuff. And he's saying that, you know, the Keyblade can bring destruction. And he says about how, you know, it can either bring like basically salvation, like it can be used to save people, or it could be used to destroy people. And I'm kind of thinking, I don't know if that was supposed to just allude to Riku and Sora's relationship in the game, or if there's something that's happened why King Triton would think like, oh, that could happen. And it kind of makes me wonder if there's been some kind of idea passed down that there's a wielder or some wielders that would destroy everything. And, you know, you got Xehanort, and it kind of just makes you think, where did those two come from? The only place I could think is that it would have come from that Scala that he was born in, you know, and I'm just thinking like, what stories did they kind of share amongst themselves about prophecies and you know what the future holds? And because in Key, that entire idea of the prophecies is what basically destroyed them. And I'm just thinking they've got the same book in this Scala, and that Scala is not around by the time, you know, it's still around, I guess, if it evolves into the Scala we see in the later games. But I don't know. I guess
I think another apocalyptic event is coming, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, like it kind of makes me feel like when it was getting rid of him, it's like there's some reason they don't like he needs to not be there. But why is it just him, or is there other?
Well, here would be my guess, right? So Destiny Islands is peculiar to begin with, right? So you tell me Xehanort and Sora grew up on the same islands. Okay, right off the bat, we got to put this thing under the microscope. But number two, if I were to guess, right? So you tell me Xehanort was born in Scala, and then we bring him to Destiny Islands, but he's eventually going to go back to Scala. So off the bat, if I were to guess off the top of my head, maybe part of their whole plan, this whole secret society, the one that picked up Brain, the one that Ephema started, the one that made this plan to get Xehanort out of there. What if their whole plan was to get Xehanort to Destiny Islands because it spins on a slower time axis, so they could keep him there for a while, and then they can bring him back into the future?
Yeah, it's well, that's the thing. It's like, I guess we don't know exactly what's in the Book of Prophecy, but if you go by the nature of it, it's supposed to basically be everything that happens, right? That leads up until the final battle. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, how much stuff do they know is just they kind of just know that's fate and we're just gonna let it play out. But then it seems like, I don't know, I guess it's hard to say because we don't know what it is, but I'm kind of just thinking that society's kind of, and I think you've alluded to this before, and that I think that society is kind of around to try and counter fate, because it seems like it's that I feel like they would be going more off of like Arvis mentality of, you know, let's not do what the master says has to happen. Let's try and do things a different way. Obviously, we don't know how that plays out, how that would take place, if that's true, until we play the game. But I feel like in some way, I'm just wondering, is Xehanort part of that, or was he the danger to that? Like, that's what I'm kind of more thinking, because it seemed like they very urgently went to get him specifically. Obviously, we don't know, we didn't see, but I'm just thinking like, he seems like the baby that they wanted to prioritize. There was no other kids on Destiny Island. They just took him. So it's like, why him specifically? You know, and we know what he's going to grow up to be. And if they had the Book of Prophecies, and we don't know who that hooded figure was, let's say it was Ephema or something, or, you know, it's like, did he know, like, oh, this is the kid, like, this is the one that's going to try to summon Kingdom Hearts and all the rest of it. And it's a missing link is what it is. So
hey, he said it. He said the thing. You just watched a clip from my podcast, The Landi Lodge. You are interested in more content involving video games and RPGs, then go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and be sure to follow us on other platforms like Twitch, Spotify, and Twitter. If you want to become a Sage of the Lodge, feel free to become a YouTube channel member or follow the link in the description. Stay beautiful, sickos and normies, and we'll catch you on the next one.
May your heart be your guiding key.